We move towards the farm. We realize that these are foreign workers and these are not terrorists from Gaza or Hamas terrorists. We make it to the farm and we meet a Bedouin man whose name is Younis. At first, Younis is a Bedouin, which is it's an Arab society that are part of Israel. They're Israeli citizens. They're Muslim Arabs. Most of them live in the south of Israel. But at first, when you enter into the farm and you hear this Arab accent, you obviously panic at first because you have no idea Younis, even though he's not dressed as a terrorist or is armed necessarily, that what we saw he could be from Gaza, and we heard that even civilians are coming into Gaza just to loot, not necessarily to murder, to loot and take and burn stuff. So we at first panic very, very quickly. Younis, as in Bedouin culture, they're very warm and they like accept you into their home very quickly, even though it's not his home. But he brings us into his office. He brings us water. He cuts fruit, pita, hummus. There's air conditioning. Really a moment of finally taking a breath. The phones are being charged. We finally have water to connect everyone. The hour is about 12 o'clock. All around us, Israel is at war. Tens of helicopters. There's maybe 40 firefights and battles going on simultaneously in Israeli territory. Troops, whether they are reserves or Sadir in the IDF, which is the mandatory servicemen, they're all flushing into the Gaza envelope and fighting these fights. Helicopters and bombs and smoke and everything it is just a war scene. But we finally found ourselves a shelter um, to really rest in. So we felt safe by this point, and we're rather calm. We ate, we drank water. We're about to even take a nap and lie on our bags. Some of us ran with bags. I had a backpack with clothes, for example, and we're about to take a nap. Out of nowhere, Younis arrives and tells us that terrorists are here. You need to imagine a farm that is gated completely from all around. And so Younis is walking back and forth all around the farm. There's obviously a few Thai foreign workers, around 20 of them, at the farm as well, not really knowing what's going on, but they do realize that something not usual is happening, and this is a terrorist infiltration. So Younis comes up to us. He runs up to us like terrorists are here. Runs back to the entrance of the farm, which he remembered to lock before. But once again, we're talking about Hamas terrorists, Nukhbot, which are armed to the teeth with RPGs and AKs. This barbed wire fence is nothing to them. A single rocket from an RPG would blow the whole fence apart. So we're at this point hiding in one of the buildings at the farm, which is pretty much his office or his dining room. And we, from a moment of being complete calm and tranquil, even for the situation, we completely panic. We have a few seconds to decide what we're doing. The only real explanation for us, the only reasonable thing to do for us that we saw was to hide underneath the building itself. Um, I have a picture which I can send you that shows exactly how we are underneath. Imagine a building with about a foot in between the ground to the building that's being held up by these cement poles, really, really slight, a really small area to squeeze through. We squeezed through, me and seven more. We were six when we joined the farm. Younis found two more, another boy and girl. So we were eight total at Younis's farm. And by this point, Younis bravely, once again, to remind everyone, Younis is a Muslim Arab Bedouin, who's Israeli, but he speaks Arab, obviously, and he's talking to these Nukhbud about, from what he says, five or six of them arrived. We hear the conversations in Arabic. None of us understand what they're talking about for all, and we're terrified. Anything can happen. Younis is an elder man. He has six kids at home. They could be pointing a gun to his head, and forcing him to expose our location and to give us up. Miraculously, and obviously with Younis's great courage, he manages to talk to them. Um, Obviously, this is a face-to-face conversation. Younis is standing behind the tractor. He's obviously also terrified for his life, but they're yelling each other in Arabic. We hear stuff like Yehud, Yehud, which is the only thing that we can understand in Arabic. So we do understand that they know that there are Jews in the area and they're looking for Jews. And we see from around, at least from where I laid underneath the building, we see a group of of a few motorcycles and ATV with terrorists on top of them, going around and looking around the farm for Jews. And miraculously, eventually they gave up. They believed them that there were no Jews at the farm. We were so scared that we didn't even leave. Younis was looking for us a few, like 10, 15 minutes after the terrorists left, and we were terrified. We didn't make a sound. We stood underneath the building waiting for rescue to arrive, which eventually did arrive.